If you could be a star, which one would you be, Malik? Do you know enough astronomy to answer my question?
No, I don't. I would be the sun. The sun, that's all. Hey, welcome back to the 11th episode of Crossroads. I'm here with the great data ninja, Najib. He is with me. He sits down with me every single day to discuss amazing topics that we find throughout the internet. And today we are going to discuss three main topics. Before that, Najib, how do you feel?
I'm awesome, Malik. I'm awesome. We have got good topics today. It's a nice Tuesday. Let's get on with this thing.
Yeah, so we have three topics. The first one is Apple iCloud crashes when a user tries to use one of the services of iCloud while logging in. We will discuss why that happened. The second topic is largest nuclear fusion reactor, ITER. Najib is going to explain why this is awesome and why we have to know about it. And third, we have an application that I want to show, which is very, very interesting and something that I wanted when I was studying or making notes. It's called FlowChart, and we will look into it too.
Amazing.
So let's start with the first one.
Yes.
Apple iCloud crashes. Now, this person called Rachel True is trying to log in to her iCloud account, but she faces a very weird issue. And this issue, let me back up a little, shows that developers, no matter where they work, are still humans. They still make mistakes. You cannot look up to some programmer in some big company in the US thinking that they never make mistakes. This is like a true testament for mistakes throughout any programmer's life. So the mistake is type error, cannot set value true to property last name. Basically, this is a type error.
Oh.
Last name should be a string, but it is trying to assign the value true because her name is True. Rachel True.
Makes sense. As soon as you read out the error, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. So, how does error like this happen? Usually when you are using a website, the website talks to a server in the backend, right?
Yeah.
So you have to send URL encoded messages or stringified JSON objects through the request to a server to store those values. So perhaps this is my speculation that when she was entering her name, this true was encoded in the URL, sent back to the server, and set it without type checking if it was a string or a boolean. So while decoding from the URL, probably what happened was it just thought it was a boolean because true, false is a very it's very common, and it turned it into a boolean. And now when she's trying to fetch those details, the front end is saying, what, this is a boolean, I want a string.
Wow.
And here you see a type error. So
I'm actually surprised that the error even showed up on the user's side. It just like because there's no pretext to this error, right? Like with every error you have a message, correct? And since they never experienced this, it just literally showed the error like it would show you in a console. Like type error cannot set value true.
Yeah, this would happen on a front end problem. If the server would have broken out, you would have gotten a default message, something like web page not accessible or 404 not found. But this is like a front end error because the back end is storing something completely wrong, name as a boolean. And yeah, this is something very interesting.
I've been going
she's
through
waiting
this error
since 6 months.
6 months. I think she waited for 6 months and then it got enough traction. Like I've been reading the tweet behind.
Yeah, now it got a lot of traction.
And it's got like 6 months of traction finally, and then she got it sorted out, and then all of the engineers at Apple are like, how do we solve this?
It's just a type check that should have happened, which they did not. So
this
shows you that no matter where you're working, you can make stupid mistakes like this. So Apple engineers are at fault here too. So that is something I wanted to share today.
Oh, I love this.
A little bit of wisdom.
Some people are
a little bit of
fun. Honestly.
Yeah.
Some people are over here like Rachel. I work in the iCloud team, and they finally they reached out to her. And the people are giving off this.
We don't know if it's resolved though.
Yeah, but it's interesting. So you always sit down and you try to think of the use cases and the errors that as a problem, because you don't want the application, of course, to give errors like these. You think you've got it all figured out. 'Cause it's iCloud. It's been out for like how many years now? And there's this one user, Rachel True. I'm surprised actually how people don't have a name like True before, you know? This couldn't be the only True. I think they just didn't reach out. They were just like, iPhone is bad.
Who knows?
iPhone bad, iPhone sucks, let's go to...
Or perhaps they had a new update to the front end that is causing these issues. It can be. The back end was always storing as true, but when it came to the front end, it made it into a string. Now maybe they're not even changing that to a string, so that's the issue.
That's
probably.
awesome. Anyway, that's awesome.
Alright.
Let me move on to our next topic, Malik.
Yes, nuclear fusion reactor ITER.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, Najib.
So, the world basically is moving towards transitioning towards sustainable energy, right? One of the things that you when you're transitioning, you think, what are like the options, correct? You have wind, solar, fossil fuel. Have, what do we say? Nuclear fusion, nuclear fission. These are like the different sources of energy for the world, right? And then in sustainable energy, there is these awesome energy creating machines called the nuclear reactors, right? In nuclear reactors, you have fission process taking place that makes energy. In fission, basically, do you know what nuclear fission does? In essence,
Yep.
in essence, it just takes like heavy metals, heavy molecules. You impart them in neutrons. Neutrons break the molecule. Energy is released. More neutrons are released. Great, we get energy.
Yeah.
That's nuclear fission, right? And there is this other thing called nuclear fission. That's the power of a star. That's how a star makes energy, Malik. So in nuclear fission, in nuclear fission, you have two light materials, like two hydrogen atoms, combining with each other, and they combine and they give off energy, right? And
they try to collide them. Yeah.
Not collide. It's like combine, literally. Collision is different. I'm talking about combine. Okay. So, like in nuclear fission, you're breaking the atom, and that's what's creating energy. In nuclear fusion, you take two hydrogen atoms, combine them, and then boom, you have energy, plus you have helium coming out of it. Alright?
Yeah.
So that's nuclear fusion. And nuclear fusion is awesome because there is no byproduct that is harmful. There is no radioactive product that is harmful. But Malik, why is it hard if it's so good?
Yeah.
The thing...
People have been debating this for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, so the thing with nuclear fusion is, in order to nuclear fusion take place, you need 150 million degrees Celsius in a chamber that creates plasma, and then in that plasma needs to be highly dense, and when that plasma reaches a certain density, the fusion actually takes place. And to create these conditions, you have a star. These conditions are created at the center of a star. Yes. But these has not been created.
How many times did we create the star?
We have created the star a lot of times. It's nice. So there is this amazing device called the tokamak. Tokamak that you're seeing on the screen right now. This is a tokamak, Malik, but this is the world's largest tokamak. It is called the ITER. ITER stands for International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. That's what ITER stands for. Okay. It's a collaboration between many nations, 35 nations to be precise, and somebody estimated the funding for ITER to be 25 billion, but cynical experts think the funding is $65 billion. It's a reactor that's being currently created in southeast of France right now, and many nations are collaborating their technologies on this, creating this thing. Okay. And ITER,
how long has it been going on?
So the fundamental technology behind ITER has been around since 1980s. Okay, but this is the biggest. But there has never been a tokamak that has created more energy than energy was put into it. The previous tokamak that was created was created 16 megawatts of energy, but it took 30 megawatts of energy to create that. So you put 30 megawatts of energy in essence, and
50% of loss to produce the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you say tokamak, what is it a acronym
No,
or
this is the
is
device.
it? Why is it named like that?
This device is called tokamak. It stands for toroidal chamber with magnetic coils.
Oh, okay. It's an acronym.
It's an acronym.
Okay.
So it's an acronym that's become like a name, sort of. That's why you can see over here.
Okay.
It's like it's not capital, right? So toroidal
Mhm.
chamber with magnetic coils. That is in essence what it is. It was created by a Russian scientist back in 19. Not exactly, but it's insane, Malik. So why this project is exciting? There has been a tokamak that has been created that took in energy, and and then it gave out 16 megawatts of energy, right? So that was a decrease. It did not give out potentially more. But this tokamak, Malik, it's twice the size than the previous tokamak. It's 10 times the volume of the previous tokamak. The depth of this donut that you're seeing is 3 Eiffel Towers, Malik.
What?
It's insane.
I thought this was
the size.
I thought this was like a machine or something.
It is.
Not. Oh.
I think there's a.
Oh,
human
okay.
part.
The human is there. All right.
This
I did not
thing
see
is
that.
insane.
Oh, this is insane.
And in order to keep
is
the
huge.
plasma contained, Malik, this thing has magnets. All right, that's the only way you can keep the plasma contained. That's in there, and the plasma is like rotated at high speeds around the central magnet, and that's how the heat is created. 150 million C, Malik. That is hotter. Basically, after this thing is created, Malik.
Hold on. This I need to
the
digest all of this. Let my brain absorb this. So this is a machine
yes.
as tall as 3 Eiffel Towers stacked up upon each other.
Yes.
It is generating heat worth of 150
50
million degrees Celsius. And it is spinning
The plasma.
inside.
It's spinning the plasma. It's not spinning. It's spinning the plasma inside this chamber that you see, plasma chamber. If you can read it, I don't know. So the spinning of this plasma chamber, Malik, requires very strong magnets. So the solenoid that's in the center, you see over here, the central magnet. If you can read, it has the energy to lift a aircraft carrier. Theoretically, it's that strong. That magnet.
Just by magnets.
The magnet. Just the central
Okay.
magnet, Malik. For your information, there are 18 D-shaped coils that are all magnets. You see these D-shaped coils, like on the right and the left in the symmetry. You have 18 of those. You have 6 polyidal magnets, and then you have this one central magnet. And the one central magnet is powerful enough to lift an aircraft carrier. Theoretically, it's that strong.
So, please tell me it was a success. Did they run this thing?
No. This thing
gigantic
started building.
star.
This thing started building in 2020 February, I think, February 2020. So all the nations, all the theory is done, all the testing, everything is done, and they started building this thing in 2020 in south of France. And all the intellectual property from this is going to go to the nations who are going to contribute towards this project, right? And the insane part about this project is this might be the first tokamak that will create more energy than has been put into it. So it's going to use 50 megawatts of energy, and it's going to put out 500 megawatts of energy, Malik. 10x.
Alright, so
Theoretically,
if this is a success,
in 2025.
if this is a success,
the first plasma is going to
you
create
will
in
see
2025.
complete independence from fossil fuels.
Dude, this thing
right?
created millions of a factor more energy than fossil fuels. Millions. It is 5x more powerful than nuclear fusion, and it is the most cleanest. The byproduct is helium. Helium, you
that is the most
helium.
fascinating part. No matter what you do, the outcomes are very
This is gonna
non-toxic.
Yes, this thing is gonna take the world to the future. This is the way. This thing has been researched since so long, and it's finally coming in. The first plasma will be burned in 2025, Malik. Keep that year in your head. And the interesting part is, after putting so many billions, this tokamak in specific will never be connected to a power grid ever. This is just a proof of concept. This is just the biggest, costliest experiment, Malik. It's just an experiment to see if the
Why is this an experiment?
because they're trying to see if
So
this technology is first of all possible. They're trying to see, is this safe? They're trying to see if the solutions that they have theoretized can actually work. This is not a machine that's been tested out, Malik.
All right.
This is the first test.
But you
But this is the biggest test.
you claim there were other tomahawks
No,
that
tokamak.
have performed.
Tokamak.
Tokamak, my bad, sorry. It's just blowing my mind. I cannot keep up. Tokamaks that have performed. So theoretically, if you just increase the efficiency, you could get a possible outcome. There is.
So the other
why would you
tokamaks,
talk
Malik,
about safety again?
Yes, so the other tokamaks, Malik, have been created and they take more energy than they give out. So it's not really giving. It's not profitable anyhow because you're putting in more energy than you can take out. You understand? You put in 30 megawatts, you got 16 megawatts. So that's a loss of energy. But this will take 50 megawatts to create that plasma, and it will be sustainable plasma for longer time, and it theoretically should give out 500 megawatts of energy. So Malik, last interesting fact. So basically after this thing is created, we will have one of the hottest places of the universe on Earth and the one of the coldest places on Earth, also because this thing has the biggest refrigeration unit also being created to keep things cool as well. So the temperature on the refrigerators will be 4 Kelvin. The temperature at the core will be 150 million C.
4 Kelvin.
4 Kelvin. Let's move on. This thing is too much. We can go on in more depth, but on to the next thing that we have, man.
All right. We will continue this later. You can talk to me about details later. So the third topic that we have, this is just blowing my mind. So the third topic that we have is the FlowChart app. So Najib, this is like a very simple, easy, intuitive way of creating flowcharts.
All right.
And I just want you to read what it's written already. Okay. And see how they've created this flowchart. Okay. So the first line is, this app works by typing. Okay. New lines create new nodes. Indentation creates child nodes. Now, if you see the blocks over there, this app works by typing, the first block. And new lines create new nodes. That's another block that has been created through it. And the child nodes of this are also created based on the indentation. So as you keep creating new lines intended in the same way you require, you can keep creating a flowchart so easily. And this was really cool. I wanted this app as soon as possible.
This is insane.
And you can go back, you can link to each other. You can so each of them have a number on the line, right? So you can reference that number and connect each block to one another. So this is pretty cool. I wanted this for a long time, man.
Dude, have you seen
mind
maps? Have you seen mind maps? The technology mind maps by, I don't know by who, but in general mind maps are like something awesome like this in itself, and they also help you create like nice charts. But of course this is very, I like you just think and then boom you create. I like that.
It's just typing of your it's your ideas. You just type it out and you have a flowchart to show to your friends and to have a mental model on it.
So this basically cool. Takes the creation of your mental model faster, faster towards visualization of your mental model, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. What can you maybe
very
use
cool
it
stuff.
for?
Anything. You want to create user interfaces, you want to see how user flows in your application, you just write it down. User clicks here, user goes from here, then comes back here. Just by typing it down, you're creating a flowchart instead of using an elaborate drawing tool. This is pretty cool. This is very intuitive, especially when you are in the wireframe designing sector.
I think it's very exciting for like the very specific kind of people, Malik. And I see your excitement, but I don't know how other people.
It's very general.
I get it.
It's very general. You can just start and jot down your ideas.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's something cool I wanted to share with you. That's awesome. I guess we are up with the topics.
I guess that's all.
Thanks for sharing all the information. Yeah, thanks. We might continue on the topics later on. Oh yeah, and one follow-up with the Jack Dorsey tweet. He actually followed up with a tweet that the funds that are being raised by the sale of his NFT will be converted into Bitcoin and will be sent to Africa. And there's a cause called Give Directly. So he will use that to fund the Africa response, which is pretty cool. We actually predicted this, right? In the previous episode, we said that he will use it for good causes. Yeah, and now he has actually declared it.
That's amazing to hear, man. I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. If you liked our episode, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. We will meet you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoy the content or learned something new today, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment below. This will help us make more videos like this, and I will see you in the next one.